want to talk about what an actual intervention looks like. When people call me up, they're usually afraid to do an intervention. Everybody has seen an intervention on a movie. I kind of joke about it, but it's the sort of a surprise ambush situation. We sit around, we read letters, we beg, we plead to try to get somebody into treatment. Very rarely is that what an intervention actually looks like. That's one of the techniques we use, but we don't ever start there. I want you to think of intervention, hiring me, as hiring a project manager. This is a big problem. The addiction is a big problem. We're not going to get out of it in that one meeting. We need to create a structured plan to get through this process and get our loved one in recovery and get them into long-term recovery. So if you think about hiring me, hiring an interventionist to help you manage what you don't know, the first thing that we start off with in any intervention is education. We need to educate the team. You're doing that today. By watching this videos, you're getting the education that you need. There's a lot of other resources that we'll give you to help you educate you on addiction and educate you on the options of treatment. The very first thing that I take care of with an intervention, I say it's the business transaction, the business deal. Not the business deal with me, but the business deal with the treatment center. This starts out with the insurance ID card. The first thing that I want a family to do is send me the front and back of the insurance ID card. We all know that there's lots of different insurance plans. It's really complicated. There's different plans underneath the same brand name of insurance. What we want to do with the insurance ID card is we're going to send that to some select treatment centers. The treatment centers that we think are right for that individual. The treatment center will get back to us with the costs. So once we get the cost of what a treatment program will cost, then we start moving forward. We get the information from the treatment center. We've got an exact budget of what the 28-day residential treatment program will cost. At that moment, it's a really big deal in intervention. We've now created a plan. It's an affordable plan. I never want to see families do something that they can't afford. We can almost always find something that's good, that works with the insurance. So the business deal is the first thing that we take care of. We might do that in 1 or 2 days, hear back from the insurance company. Then we're starting to talk about really what the long-term plan is for this. People ask me all the time, does everybody have to go to rehab? Not necessarily. Rehab is certainly the most significant, highest intensity, hardest thing to do. We're talking 28 days away from home. We're talking, there's problems with people getting away from work. There's problems, people have family commitments. So it's difficult to put somebody in treatment. What I will say though is, but usually by the time that somebody calls, the problem is so bad that most of the times when we look at the situation, we're looking at inpatient treatment as the best option. Now there are outpatient options. We're going to discuss that. I talked a little bit in an earlier video about intensive outpatient treatment. There's sober living, there's standalone detoxes, there's 12-step recovery meetings. There's lots of different options. Certainly inpatient treatment is not the only option. We're going to explore all those other options. Part of the project management is we're talking about, in the earlier video I said it's so important to be thinking about 90 days. Most people, they go into treatment. Most people are kind of ready for residential treatment at this point. But what I'm worried about that the family doesn't know about yet is I'm really worried about the day that somebody comes out of treatment. The second they're in rehab, we need to start creating a plan for their long-term recovery. They were drinking at home. They were drinking in the basement. If we just take somebody, drop them off at rehab, bring them home, just a high likelihood of relapse. So part of working with me, part of an intervention is creating a plan for when they're done with their residential treatment to really carry them past the second and third months, 60 and 90 days. So our process, I always tell people, we're going to do some prep work. I want all the family members, friends, the intervention team, we call it. We want them on a couple of Zoom videos. We need to do a full assessment of what's going on with the individual. We need to get the truth out. We need to get the cavalry to show up. We need to educate everybody about addiction. We need to identify what's the actual problem that we're dealing with. So to do that, we want to hear from moms and dads. We want to hear from some friends. The prep week is really important. That's when the truth really comes out. That's when we know we identify the actual problem that we're trying to solve. Our second week, that's usually when we're talking to the addicted person. Most of the times, it's not that confrontation. Most of the times, it doesn't look too much different than a conversation just like this, or a lot of times we do it over Zoom. We want to invite the addicted person to be a part of that. We want to invite them to be a part of the plan. Absolutely, we don't want to do the bamboozle type of technique. And then, just the process. Once we get somebody stabilized, we get them into treatment. Our work isn't done. We're going to continue to meet with the family. It's sort of amazing. I always say, when somebody's in rehab, time goes by really slow. But for the people on the outside, time goes by really fast. A month when somebody's in treatment, that month goes by really fast. So the second somebody is in inpatient treatment, we're going to start talking about aftercare. And that conversation starts happening really the first week that somebody's in treatment, because that month is going to go by so fast.